But start in a seat that's comfortable for you. And you can start to settle into your space, maybe move around a little bit before you find stillness. And then let your hands rest wherever's comfortable. Actually, let's do palms facing up to the sky. So palms facing up on your lap. Maybe you feel a little bit of openness through your collarbones and shoulders. And before we do anything, we'll just take 3 clearing breaths to just settle in, let go of anything that you're kind of coming into practice with. So take an inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth. And last time. And start to let your breath flow naturally in and out of the nostrils. Maybe your gaze softens down to the ground, or you can close your eyes. And you might just start to breathe into your hands. So bring your attention to your hands and see if your shoulders can soften away from your ears. And imagine that you can actually breathe into your hands. So that can manifest in a lot of different ways. Maybe there's like a light you're visualizing or something more abstract happening in your hands. Maybe it's a feeling in the body. Let's start to link your breath with that feeling of openness and receptivity of your palms facing up. And throughout practice, you're welcome to have an audible breath. You can use Ujjayi Pranayama, that slight constriction at the throat that creates a whisper-like quality to the breath. And this extends the exhale, so feel free to add that in here or at any point during practice. And start to feel heaviness through your seat, lightness through the crown of the head. We'll take 3 rounds of breath, just watching the inhale and exhale. And we do this practice as a way to create relationship with the breath, to create awareness of the breath, and to find that sense of grounding to start practice. So if you notice that your mind's kind of wandering or chattering, let that be just a part of the experience layered on, but always bring your attention back to your breath, back to sensation on the mat. And let's start to bring hands to heart center your way. Palms can press together, or you can turn your hands to face your heart. So either one. And we're in the midst of new moon times, and if you follow lunar cycle kind of astrology sort of things, maybe you know that that's a time for either planting seeds for the next lunar cycle or letting something go. Maybe there's some sort of dedication you have for your practice or even your week. Feel free to bring that into your mind here. And if you'd like to, we'll start practice with 3 ohms together. Feel free to just listen to me if you'd rather not chant Om. But if you'd like to join in, let's take a full exhale out first. Full inhale in to start. And start to bring your hands down to your lap, blink your eyes open, and we'll meet in tabletop. So hands and knees. And once you get there, make sure shoulders are over your wrists, hips are over the knees, and we'll tilt the tailbone up, drop the belly, look forward, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose. So you can use a little bit of your sensation in your hands to create more sensation. So we'll move with the breath. Inhale to your cow pose. Maybe you feel like your hands are dragging to your heels to create traction. As you exhale, you can press your hands down into your mat to feel that space sort of open up at that upper mid spine. So move with your breath. Can be helpful even here to soften the gaze or close the eyes. If you feel like increasing your range of motion, we'll start to walk the hands one handprint forward and extend the hips on the inhale. Exhale, sit the hips toward the heels, toward child's pose. And we'll move between these two shapes if you want to add on or stick to the first way we were doing cat and cow. Yeah, so just inviting space to the front of the hips and then flexing through the hips, bending at the hips, resting the forehead toward the ground. So anytime I say move toward child's pose, I just mean that you don't have to go all the way there right away. But in the next breath or two, we'll all sit the hips back, forehead will rest down. And just allow yourself to feel heavy for a few breaths. So we're always working on finding the balance between effort and ease. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more warm, that sense of circulation happening for movement. And now we can use the breath to direct kind of sensation at the back body. So use the depth of your breath to feel that openness through your entire back. And then soften your jaw, your face for 2 more breaths. And when you're ready, start to lift your head up. You can walk your hands a little bit forward and walk your hands to the right. So hands will walk over to the right. Maybe they're off of your mat and you'll sit your left hip back and down. And you can start to rest your forehead back down to the ground. It's okay if it doesn't reach the ground, but just have your neck relaxed. And 3 deep breaths into that entire left side body. Soften the effort in your reach, in your shoulders. And when you're ready, we'll walk hands through center and over to the left side. Same thing here, we're sitting that right hip back and down. Fingertips reach to that upper left-hand corner. And then once you've settled in, soften the elbows, the shoulders, forehead. And breathe into your right lung. All right, start to lift your head up, walk your hands through center. Lift yourself up to tabletop. Inhale, cow pose, tuck the toes. And exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Knees can stay as bent as they need to. Spread your fingers wide, root your knuckles down. And maybe you feel that sense of suction at the palm of your hand. So kind of like you're grabbing at your mat. And let that lift your tailbone up to the sky. Feel free to pedal out the feet so you can straighten one leg, bend one knee, straighten the other leg. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. 2 more breaths. And next inhale, start to shift forward into plank pose. So you can hover shoulders over wrists. You can drop to your knees if you need to. But plank pose, your way. Press your heels back, crown of the head forward, and draw your shoulders away from your ears. If you want more activity, you'll start to isometrically drag your hands and feet toward one another. So creating a little bit of activation through the front body. 2 more breaths here. Eventually, we'll lower the knees down. Shift your shoulders ahead of your wrists. So rather than over, your shoulders are ahead. And make sure your elbows are pointing to the back of your mat. We'll take little pulses of push-ups here. So lower down an inch and then up. If you want to lower down further, you can. But you can start with just lowering an inch and then lifting back up. See if you can keep your core braced here and not collapse into your shoulders. And we'll pulse it out for 2 or 3 more rounds. All right, the next time you pulse down, start to tilt your tailbone to the sky and lower your chest and chin between your hands. Lower your belly all the way down. Walk your hands right by your ribs. And before we do anything here, start to draw your shoulder blades together. Elbows point to the back of the mat. And we'll lift the heart up. Feet stay grounded and lower down as you exhale. So 2 more times like that. Inhale to your low cobra. Keep your gaze down the tip of your nose. Exhale, lower. And last time. Inhale, find that lift. Exhale, lower. Next inhale, plank pose your way, on or off the knees. Downward facing dog, lift the hips. And notice any shifts. Notice where you feel a little more warm, a little more open. And the next inhale you take, we'll look to the hands, bend the knees a lot, and take a slow walk forward. So fold forward at the front of your mat. You can shake your head yes and no. Feel free to grab opposite elbows if you want to add more weight. You can also be a little more upright. So any low back tightness or super tight hamstrings, you can always bring forearms to thighs and find your forward fold that way. And then take 3 more breaths into that space at the back of the legs. And eventually we'll take a slow roll up to stand. So bend your knees a lot. You can bring hands to thighs or start to stack your low back, mid back, and upper back. Hands can just be at your sides. Head comes up last. And roll your shoulders up and back, Tadasana. Start to draw your kneecaps up toward your hips so quads are engaged. Make sure your glutes stay relatively soft. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, cactus your arms, draw your shoulder blades together, space around the neck. And we'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, you reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, keep your core braced. And last time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, soften your knees, hinge forward, and fold. Fingertips to shins, lift up halfway. And start to brace your core here so that you can almost have your hands floating. Exhale, fold. Step that left foot back, runner's lunge, and drop to your left knee. So you're welcome to stay there. Sorry, my Zoom's being super fucking weird. Okay. Drop to your left knee, and we'll rise up. So Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. Start to check in with your body here and see if you're really arching your low back. Let's slightly tuck that tailbone under, or you can think of drawing pubic bone to belly button. So low belly is engaged. And feel free to walk that right foot forward if you want to add more sensation. 1 more breath here. On your exhale, hands come into the inside of that right foot. So both hands are on the inside of that right foot. And start to walk your hands over to the left. That left shin will kickstand behind you. And so we're switching to stand on that left knee and lift yourself up. So standing on the left knee, hips pointing to the left side of the mat, and we'll start to stretch that right leg out long. So right leg is straight, knife edge of the right foot is down, and we'll reach the arms up. Start to bring your right hand down to your right thigh, and maybe you stay here reaching up, or you can take a side bend over to the right. Yeah, so keep pressing your hips forward. Draw your shoulders down your back. All right, breathe into that left side. And building our strength from the ground up, we'll lift up. So press your legs into the ground, engage your core, lift yourself up, and start to walk your hands in front of you. So you'll kind of be in down dog with your left knee on the ground. So start to walk your hands forward any distance and sit your hips back. Yeah, so hips sit back, hands walk forward. I know it's super kind of awkward to see, but looks kind of like this from the side view. All right, let's take 2 more breaths. Breathing into any sensations that are happening here. And start to walk your hands back under your shoulders. Start to pivot your right toes to the front again. Bring that left shin straight again. So we're back in this sort of low runner's lunge position. Left hand plants down, right arm reaches up for a twist. Draw that right shoulder down the back. And exhale, plant your right hand down. You can tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee, step back, plank pose, and make your way to downward facing dog. So maybe you're dropping the knees down, taking those little pulses about 3 times. Eventually that can lead you to knees, chest, chin. Lower your belly down. Inhale to low cobra. Exhale, lower. Plank pose to down dog. So if you have a different flow that you like to do, if you're feeling like chaturanga is where you want to go, if that's available to you, you can do that. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's totally fine as well. Start to drag that left heel up to the sky. So left foot is lifted, left leg is lifted, 3-legged dog. Exhale, draw knee to nose, hover shoulders over wrists. 2 more times like that, 3-legged dog on the inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, hug your thigh towards your belly. And last time, 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, step that left foot forward, runner's lunge. And take a bit of a halfway lift here. Tina, if you need your blocks here, it can kind of help with finding length. And when you're ready, step that right foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold, and press into your feet. Reach up and bring hands to heart center. So take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. This time we'll do a little different on the 3rd round. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. And you can start to grab either opposite elbows, or you can grab your hands. Draw your elbows together if you're taking your hands and reach them down the back. And maybe this is how you fold forward, rinsing your hands above, or if you have your forearms, you're doing the same sort of thing here. But feeling openness at the front of the heart as you fold forward. Let that head hang. 2 more breaths. And with control, release your hands down. Halfway lift to inhale. Exhale, fold, and step that right foot back. Runner's lunge. Drop to your right knee and lift all the way up for your Anjaneyasana, your low crescent lunge. Find that customized, interesting depth that you want to go. Pubic bone draws to your belly button. Notice how that changes things. Shoulders soften away from your ears. Draw your pinkies together. Or they're not going to touch, but turning your hands that way. And exhale, hands to the inside of that left foot. And start to walk your hands in this sort of quarter circle over to the right. So hands are walking to the right. Kickstand that right shin behind you. And we'll straighten out that left leg and lift up, standing on the right knee. So same thing we did second side. And we'll reach the arms up to the sky. Yeah, Melissa, you're a step ahead. So reach the arms up. And then left hand to left thigh, and we'll take a side bend first. Yeah, side bend over to the left. That's where we're headed next, though. But 2 more breaths into that right side body. Draw that right shoulder down. And then start to press through your feet, activate your core, lift yourself up through center. And now we can walk the hands forward. So just as much as you're walking hands forward, you can sit your hips back and find that sort of middle place where maybe you're feeling that stretch in the inner left thigh. Soften your shoulders, your jaw. All right, one more breath. Stay for the exhale. And with control, start to walk your hands back. Draw your half circle toward the front of your mat again. You can adjust your right knee. Find your runner's lunge. Lift the right knee. Step back plank pose and find your flow. So I always say customize. If you want to just lift the hips and not come down to the belly for that cobra variation, feel free to do that. But if you want to come down to cobra, lift on the inhale, plank pose, and down dog as you exhale. Remember to press through your knuckles. Lift your tailbone up to the sky like someone's pulling on a string. And when you're ready, start to lift that right leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, draw knee to nose, shoulders over wrists, hug that thigh to your belly. Inhale, 3-legged dog. So 2 more times. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, 3-legged dog. That last time, see if you can hug your right thigh to your belly so much that it's super easy to step the right foot forward. Find your runner's lunge. Find a bit of a halfway lift, so crown of the head points forward. And step the left foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale. Exhale, fold. And rise up. Hands to heart center. So Tina, if you want to add in your block between your thighs, we're moving to that chair pose variation with the block. If you don't have a block, you can have your legs either hip distance apart or feet together. So whatever one you like to do. And hands will come to heart center. As you exhale, sit your hips back, squeeze your thighs together for your chair pose. So shins are moving back energetically. You can even lift your toes up and set them down. Heart breathes into the thumb. So heart is lifted. And if you want to add on, reach your arms forward. All right, one more breath here. When you're ready, we'll fold forward. Remove your block if you have one. Halfway lift to inhale. Exhale, fold and step the left foot back, runner's lunge. This time we'll keep that left knee lifted. Start to press strong into your feet, scissor your thighs together, and come up with control. So if you want to add core challenge, you can reach your arms out to the sides or forward and then reach them all the way up. So either one, you can try different ones and see what works or doesn't work. I'm going to take an inhale here. As you exhale, so we'll keep that left knee, that back knee kind of soft. So we'll inhale here. As you exhale, we'll find that cactus of the arms and bend that left knee. Yeah, and inhale, lift up, straighten the left knee. So finding these little, I don't know what these are called, lunges, I guess. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, lower down. So last time. So you don't have to touch that back knee to the ground. Maybe have it hover. And inhale, lift. Let's exhale, plant the left foot down. Reach the arms out for warrior two. So now the hips point to the left. And settle in, find that interesting place. So you can widen out your stance if you're feeling like, ooh, I want to feel some warmth. Maybe you're already feeling warmth in a slightly shorter stance. So either one, just make sure that right knee is over the right ankle and you're kind of rolling that right thigh to the outer part of that right leg. All right, settle in here. Flip your palms up to the sky and we'll tip it back, peaceful warrior. Keep the bend in that right knee. Exhale, right forearm to right thigh, left arm reaches up or over, side angle. And we'll do that 2 times, so tip it back, peaceful warrior on the inhale. Exhale, side angle, right forearm to right thigh, left arm reaches up and over. So keep pressing through that right heel and the knife edge of that left foot. After this third side angle, we're going to lift up to warrior two, gaze over that right middle finger. Start to straighten your right leg and reach those right fingertips forward and drop that hand down. The left arm reaches up for a triangle pose or Utthita Trikonasana. So that right set of ribs rolls under, feeling nice and spacious here. Draw that left shoulder away from the ears, shoulder blade down the back. Keep your knees soft. One more breath. And with control, press into your feet, build your strength from the ground up, lift yourself all the way up. Exhale, warrior two, bend the right knee. Cartwheel the hands down, runner's lunge. Plant your left hand down and lift your right arm up. Find your twist. Don't collapse that left hip down. Keep it strong and lifted. And plant your right hand down. Step back, plank pose. And down dog your way. If you want to add in that knees, chest, chin flow to cobra or upward facing dog, feel free. If you need to take a break, rest in child's pose at all, that's also an option. So this is your practice, especially virtual class. There's no need for you to have to strain. So once you arrive in your down dog, we'll lift that left heel up to the sky. Exhale, step it forward, runner's lunge. Find your length in your spine, and then step the right foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, reset the spine, brace the core. Exhale, fold, and press into the feet. Circle the arms out and up. Hands draw to heart center. Sit your hips back, chair pose. Squeeze your thighs together. Soften your jaw. Yeah, add in your props. You can reach forward if you want to. Be here for 2 more breaths. And exhale, fold forward. And step that right foot back for runner's lunge. This time we'll rise up from here. So scissor your thighs together, press into your feet, reach your arms out or forward or on your thigh to help you rise up. And take an inhale here, settle in, buoyancy in the legs. Take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, bend that back knee. So you'll see my front knee kind of isn't changing at all. So see if you can Direct that sensation to the back knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus, and bend that right knee. And inhale, lift up. Exhale, open it up, warrior two. So you might notice this side feels a little different than the first side. Know that that's the normal way that we work as people. Look over that left middle finger, flip your palms to the sky, and we'll tip it back. Peaceful warrior. Keep the bend in that left knee. Yeah, exhale, left forearm to left thigh, right arm reaches up or over, side angle. So flow through these two with your breath. Use your entire inhale to tip back, entire exhale to lean forward. And after that third side angle, we'll meet in warrior two. So we're all going at different paces. That's as it should be. But warrior two when you're ready. And then we're heading to triangle. So straighten that left leg, reach the left fingertips forward. And when you can't reach anymore, left hand drops down, right arm lifts. And I didn't say this earlier, but if your arms are ever getting fatigued, this top hand can always come behind you, find some space through the collarbone. All right, see if you can keep the breath nice and silky here. One more breath. Stay for your exhale. Press into your feet. Lift yourself up with that top hand. And warrior two as you exhale. Hands cartwheel down for your runner's lunge. Lift that right heel. Plant your right hand down. You can have your fist down too or hand on a block. And lift the left fingertips up. Keep that right hip lifted. And start to set that left hand down. Step back, plank pose, downward facing dog your way. Either adding your flow or lifting the hips. So I like to just add in that option of kind of doing whatever you want for your vinyasa because I just don't think you have to do every single push-up that we can often feel pressured to do in a vinyasa class. All right, when you're ready, right leg lifts, and we'll step it forward. Runner's lunge, find a bit of a halfway lift, and step the left foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, brace the core. Exhale, fold, and press into the feet. We'll rise all the way up. Hands draw to heart center and down. So turn to face alongside of your mat. Doesn't matter which one. And we'll either walk or hop out wide. As you exhale, it's warrior two with the right knee in front. So if you need to switch sides, it's totally fine, but right knee is bent. Gaze over those fingertips. Settle in. As you exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down. Sorry, I'm losing track of myself here. And drop the left knee down. So we'll find lizard pose. So you can either stay here, hands on the ground. If you have a block, you can lower your forearms on the block, but just finding some space at that inner hip crease. And you can customize how you want to do this. So you can turn those right toes out to the right a little bit. You can peel that right foot off of the ground if that feels available to you. So if you want more sensation, the lower you'll go. If you're feeling good on sensation, you'll stay right here. But whatever you're doing, we're softening through the face, the jaw, and focusing on breathing in this area in the right hip. Keep breathing. 2 more breaths. And when you're ready to exit out, start to lift that left knee Start to heel toe that right foot in for more of a runner's lunge. And we'll reverse cartwheel into warrior two. So plant your left foot down and lift your left arm up, press into your feet, lift your right arm up, warrior two. Straighten that right leg, pivot your toes to face the left. So feet are parallel now. Reach your arms up and exhale, fold forward. So wide-legged forward fold. Start to let your head be heavy. And just like we did at the beginning of practice, we'll start to walk the hands forward. So walk your hands forward, sort of like a wide-legged down dog. Hips sit back heavy. Hips are heavy. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. And just breathe into anything you're feeling here, any spaces you feel opening up or areas of tension. Maybe your exhale softens that feeling. All right, start to press into your hands, lift up halfway, walk your hands under your shoulders. Bring your heels in, toes out, bend your knees, hands to your thighs, and we'll lift up to this goddess squat. So settle in here. Hands can stay on your thighs or draw hands to heart center. And if you want to add on, you'll cactus your arms. So just like we do in warrior, we want the knees moving to the pinky toe sides of the feet, and head is relatively over the hips rather than being forward. If you're a little forward, that's totally fine. This can be pretty intense, so find that place that's interesting for you. All right, we'll be here for 3 deep breaths. If you find your mind wandering somehow, that can be a signal that you can sit a little lower. All right. On your next inhale, press through your heels, straighten your legs, reach your arms up. Star pose. Ooh. And hands to heart center. Walk or hop to center. And hands down by the sides. All right. So just notice how that feels on this entire right side. What happened? And we'll find that second side. So hands at heart center, heel toe or hop wide. Warrior two over to the left. Warrior two over to the left. Reach your arms out, look over that left middle finger, settle into that interesting place. Keep your core a little bit engaged. Next, exhale, hands cartwheel down to the inside of that left leg. So we're in like a runner's lunge, hands to the inside, drop that right knee down, and settle into your lizard pose on this side. So again, you can peel that left foot off of the ground. You can keep it planted down, but we're breathing space through the collarbones, softness in the elbows. And see if you can keep a little bit of a lift in your heart. All right. Stay for your next exhale. And when you're ready, start to lift up to that sort of runner's lunge. You can heel toe that left foot in, plant that right foot down, and reverse cartwheel up to warrior two. So right arm lifts, press through your feet, left arm lifts, and settle in. Start to lift yourself up, pivot your toes to face the right, and exhale, forward fold, wide-legged forward fold. This time, instead of walking the hands forward, you could stick with that, or you can also walk your hands between your legs underneath yourself. So encouraging yourself to fold a little more towards your thighs. Slightly different. And we'll be here for 2 more deep breaths. All right, when you're ready to exit, hands are under the shoulders, heels in, toes out. Take your slow roll up to your goddess squat. One more quick goddess squat, 2 breaths. And when you're ready, press into your feet, straighten the legs, heel toe, or hop yourself through center. And let's start to make our way to the front of the mat. Take a seat. So feet are in front. You can move the flesh from under your seat, hands behind the knees, and start to hug your ribs in through center, kind of like you're wearing a tight corset. Shoulders soften down, crown of the head rises, and we'll prepare to lean back for boat pose. So legs come with you as you lean back, and you can bring your shins parallel to the ground. You can hover your arms to the sides. You could reach your arms up, but only do any of these options if it feels like it's actually adding to your practice rather than being a nuisance and creating roundness in your spine. So let's find 2 more deep breaths here. And to exit, lower the feet down, plant your hands behind you, and we'll lift the hips up for a reverse tabletop or altar pose. So lift up to that interesting place for you, and exhale, lower the hips down. Start to reach your arms forward, and we'll take a slow roll down to the back. Tina, make sure you have a block around for when you lower down. And the slower you roll down, the more core exercise is happening. So if you want to add that in, you might go super slow. Eventually, let's hug knees to chest and rock side to side. Start to notice what it feels like to be on your back. Notice what it feels like to slow the practice down a little bit. All right, let's exhale the feet down and make sure your heels are right under your knees. Feet are about hip distance apart. Tina, you can put that block between your thighs. So we're preparing for bridge pose, and we'll do flowing bridge first and then bridge in stillness. And if you haven't done that before, I'll explain it. But if you don't have a block, we'll still squeeze an invisible block. So hands by the sides, start to magnetize your thighs together. Lift your hips up, press through your heels, and exhale, lower your hips down. And if you want to, we'll add in reaching the arms up overhead next time you lift the hips. Arms lift, maybe they land somewhere above you. And exhale, lower the hips and the arms at the same time. So that might be the challenge, to see if you can do that synchronized together. And if you don't have a block, see if when you lift your hips up to their highest point, that you can still squeeze the thighs toward the midline. All right, so let's do 2 more of flowing bridge, and know that you can always just ditch the arms if for any reason that doesn't feel good to you today. And the next time you lift the hips, will stay. You can bring your arms down by your sides. Take any arm variation you like. You can grab the edges of your mat. Squeeze the thighs together. Feel your tailbone slightly round down, like we're in cat pose. So tailbone slightly draws under. Soften your jaw, your shoulders. If you want to add sensation to your legs, we'll add an isometric pull of the heels toward the shoulders. So like you're trying to drag your heels to your shoulders. And 3 more breaths here. Keep squeezing thighs together. And to exit, let's take a slow roll down. So the upper back, mid back, and low back start to stick down onto the ground. Remove your block. Widen your feet out about mat width apart, and let's windshield wiper knees side to side. So feel free to move however feels good here. Eventually, we can start to hug knees to chest. So when you're ready, knees hug to chest. And we'll keep the right knee hugged in, drop your left foot down, and cross your right ankle over your left knee. So figure 4 with the legs. You can press the right thigh away. Maybe this is where you want to stay. You can also, for future reference, you can also put something under that left leg, more support and more sensation, or draw your left thigh towards you. If you're doing that, see if you can do it without just grabbing for your leg. Try to use your core and leg strength to draw your left thigh towards you, and then hands can start to reach behind the left thigh. And once you get here, you can sway side to side. You might focus on leaving your head down heavy, shoulders are heavy, tailbone is even heavy, and press your right thigh away. Let's find 3 more deep breaths into the right hip. All right. And when you're ready to exit, set the left foot down and switch it out. So right foot's down, left ankle crosses over the right. Notice the differences already. So my left side's usually a lot tighter than the right. You can start by just pressing the left thigh away. When you feel ready to add on, if and when, you can start to drag that right thigh towards you, use your strength, and reach behind that right leg with your hands. And feel free to find that sway. Head, shoulders, and tailbone are heavy. Keep the breath flowing. All right, 2 more deep breaths into that left hip. Start to lower the right foot down. Set that left foot down. And we'll hug knees to chest again. Start to reach your arms out at a T. And we'll add in a little bit of final oblique activation. So knees are through center. As you exhale, knees over to the right, you might pause where it feels kind of interesting, where you can find that hover where your core is working. And then inhale through center, do the same thing on the left side. So knees draw over to the left without landing on the ground. Find that hover, that controlled area where you can activate your core, and inhale through center. So we'll do that 2 more times on each side, just kind of tick-tocking the legs side to side, pausing when the obliques activate. And last time. And the next time your knees draw over to the right side, let them fall all the way to the ground. So if this feels funky at all and like you need to adjust, you might try to bring your knees back through center, shift your hips to the left first, and then drop your knees to the right. That supine twist, that left shoulder is heavy. Feel free to gaze at the ceiling or turn your head to your left fingertips. See if you can breathe all the way down into your belly. 3 more deep rounds of breath into the belly. Maybe every exhale, you can feel a little bit heavier through your back body. Every inhale, you feel a little bit of openness or expansion. All right, when you're ready, start to turn your gaze through center if it's not there already. Knees draw through center, and then let them fall over to the left. If you need to shift your hips to the right first, feel free to do that. And if you want to, lift and turn your head over to the right. And start to breathe into your belly. Notice the twist as you exhale. All right, 2 more breaths on this side. And when you're ready, knees draw through center. Center your hips again if they weren't already, and you can hug knees to chest. Maybe you start to draw your knees toward your armpits and have your soles of the feet pointing to the sky. See if you can have your ankles over your knees and find happy baby. All right, a few rounds of breath here. Feel free to sway side to side. And if there's any final pose you need to add on before Shavasana, feel free. Otherwise, Shavasana your way is where we'll meet. So legs can stretch out long, palms can face the sky. Any low back tension, you can also have your feet planted on the ground, knees bent. So take the option that works best for you. And as you settle in, start to let your imprint of your body on your mat be really present and heavy. Start to be aware of the heaviness of your head on the ground. And we'll start to trace that awareness down the neck to the shoulders. Maybe you feel like gravity is just pressing on the front of your shoulders to let there be more contact with your mat. Notice your arms on the ground. Could you let your arm bones be heavy? Start to be aware of the top of your spine, that upper back, your mid back, and your low back. Any tension along the way, see if the exhale could just let that go. Notice the heaviness of your hips on the ground. And as you trace your awareness from your hips down the backs of your legs to your calves, to your heels and the soles of your feet, see if the exhale could invite heaviness, release, and maybe softness. And maybe as you lean fully into the support of the ground beneath you, and as you find stillness in your body, you could find stillness in your mind. Feel free to stay as you are for as long as you'd like to. If and when you feel called to movement, allow a deep breath to fill your lungs first. That breath maybe could initiate movement in the hands and the feet, eventually growing into larger movements of the arms and legs. And take your time. As you start to find that movement and it grows larger, you could start to make your way onto one side where you can sort of rest in a maybe fetal position. Your head can rest on your bicep or your hands. And take your time. You can take a few breaths here before pressing yourself up to your seat. And as you arrive to a more vertical place, keep your gaze soft. Maybe your eyes could stay closed. And this time we'll have palms facing down on the thighs as a gesture of receiving or not receiving, of integrating what we've received through practice. And during this new moon time, it's a nice reminder, especially during the year that we're having, or the year we had, that we're capable of doing challenging work. So if you felt challenged and you made it to the end of this practice, know that that's not a small feat. That's part of your work and your path. So let's bring hands to heart center in honor of that. You can bring to mind your intention that maybe is layered on with a little bit of gratitude for being able to cultivate this practice together. And we'll send that out with a single Om. If you'd like to join in, feel free, or just listen to me. So full exhale out, full inhale in if you're joining in. Bowing our heads to our hearts, we honor the practice we've done today. May our practice bear fruit, and may that fruit benefit all beings everywhere. I will end with thank you. Thank you for being here today and joining in to this little secret community we've got going on. And as always, let me know if there's any questions that you have about anything we did, or feedback about anything. Otherwise, yeah, hope you guys have a good night.